So let's see what we have. How are we? Oh, I see what happens. Okay, how are we doing? Okay, let us see and let us hear. So, online first. Hi, Christina. Can you hear me? Could you please confirm?
Yeah, I can hear.
Can you just speak a little louder, Christina, so we can hear? Go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear.
Great. Excellent. Okay, I'll turn this off. This is the YouTube. That's excellent. Okay, and Nick, could you just jump on your microphone and confirm that you hear me? Please go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm here.
Great. Okay, so everything's working there. And let's see how we're doing. Nishan, please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Terrific. And Vieno, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Excellent. Everybody's clear. And then I think I have seen, aren't we lucky? Ajoy is jumping in from Dhaka in Bangladesh. Hi, Ajoy. How are you?
Hey, Professor. Good evening. Good morning. How are you? Uh,
Terrific. Okay, so we're off. Yeah, we've taken off. Excellent. Come on in, everybody. Just grab a seat on the couch over there so the online students can see you. But if you really feel uncomfortable, it's okay. You can sit behind. But the couches, because you'll see what the online students see and the students who watch the recordings is what the camera sees. So, anyways, don't worry about it. Always trying to create an interactive experience in this classroom to make it feel like we actually have a multimedia classroom for humanity for the 21st century and the third millennium. So the trick is to use technology to make people feel close, that they're actually in a classroom. And so what we avoid are thumbnails, people who are sitting in front of a camera like Zoom and they are just zombies. So I don't need people to show their faces. What matters is their brains. But it's here that is really critical, the people who come in person, because the energy from this is what then we connect with the rest of the world. So if it's possible, can we, I'll just show you, but I'll just show you. This is, well, let me go to this is what's on YouTube Live, okay, right now. That's what they see, the rest of the world. And it's not bad, but it would be great if we can get some people in the that couch there, you see, so we can get this sense of gathering around the dashboard. But anyways, it's I'm not going to push it. But Ajoy is actually let me see Ajoy. Oh, here I got to get back to Toria, okay, because I'm getting ahead. That's just a little bit of extra, but the critical thing is where. Oh yeah, I got to do it this way today. Okay, so we'll come over to Toria because that's really where it's happening on our video conferencing system. And then I can, yeah, so I can make Ajoy full screen. Yeah, from Dhaka in Bangladesh. There you go. Okay, great, Ajoy. We're going to be talking about Ajoy. Actually, probably if he's free, we'll have him as a guest a little later in the semester because I need to update him on something. Anyways, okay, so that's great. So I can control that. Hi, Hassan, and that's good. So okay, so we're looking good. Everyone can hear me, and yeah, come on and grab. If you know, would you be able to sit in the couch there? Would that be here? Right? Somebody, just one person. Just oh well, everybody's so shy. Okay, it's by the end of this semester, we're all going to be leaders, and we won't be so shy. Okay, but anyways, let me just so the lighting on the smart board when we get over there is more clear. But okay, so that's good enough for now. I'd like to see a little green. Great. Hassan, would you just jump on your microphone and confirm that we can hear you? Just go ahead.
Yes.
Great. Thank you, Hassan. So I think we can get started for our second Global Leader class of the semester. And where is the space station right now? Orbiting? Well, let us begin, and I will tell you about that momentarily. So welcome everybody to Global Leader. And for Ajoy in Dhaka in Bangladesh, we've renamed the course this semester, and we're focusing more on global leadership among younger people. So we've been able to move past this idea of the global class when we began essentially 12 to 13 years ago, connecting people from different parts of the world via video conferencing was kind of novel for a classroom. It isn't anymore. The pandemic changed all of that. But we were kind of ahead at that time when we were starting to connect classrooms from around the world, create this sense of planet-wide global citizenship. So what's evolved is this idea of global leadership. So now the idea that we connect all over the place, everybody can do that. But to take it further, we're really focusing on this idea of leadership, of younger people around the world who are involved in projects and initiatives that really demonstrate the idea of thoughtful, smart, responsible global citizenship. That's why you've signed up for this course. You're going to meet some of these people. But ultimately, I like to think that when you look at me, your professor, I'm kind of a living example of that too. And I will, over the semester, tell you about my career and things that I've done in television and film and journalism. And since I was actually quite young, believe it or not, I started as a young reporter at the early days of City TV when I was about 17 years old. I used to do reports for them when they were in their old building. And there's lots of stuff online. You can just enter my name and you'll see lots of things. But I think that this idea of being ready to succeed in a very complex planet-wide world with existential problems requires that you meet younger people like yourself and others who are carrying out that vision. And I'm sort of in the back as your coach who's created all of this to help you. But there are lots of people you're going to meet. And one of them today who's just jumped in, thankfully, is Ajoy in Dhaka in Bangladesh. And Ajoy, I'm not going to ask you today to actually be our guest. I just wanted you to be here and for the students to say hello to you a little bit. But Ajoy is one of those remarkable young people who is in Bangladesh. She's been with the global class during its evolution. And at the moment, I'm helping him or writing and helping him to maybe get into Stanford University, where he's applying. And he's a really interesting young global thinker. So Ajoy, thanks. What time is it in Dhaka right now?
Well, Professor, this is 8:20 p.m.
8:20 p.m. Okay, great. Well, you are welcome to stay for the whole class, but I just wanted to let you know that today I just wanted to introduce you to the students, and then we will talk some more in the coming weeks because I'd like to have you as a guest as well in terms of our featuring this semester. Okay, so just along with quite a few others that we have lined up. Violetta will be back, Anna, who've led our Global Guardian initiative in Ukraine, getting supplies to frontline Ukrainians. And in fact, we've been saving lives there. We have lots of other things going on. Lots of people over the years have been coming into the global class and there's some really interesting people. So Ajoy, is there anything, before I get everybody set up for today's class, is there anything you'd like to say to the new group of students this semester as we focus on this idea of global leadership? Anything on your mind from Dhaka, 12 hours or 10 hours ahead?
No, Professor, just carry on. Mhm.
Okay, great. I'm just going to bring the map over here so you can see. Let's do a little bit of geography before we start. And we know we have our microphones, and we know we have everything else working. So before we go over and orient ourselves to the eastern part of the world, to Asia and Bangladesh, which is where Ajoy is now sitting in his apartment in one of the most densely populated cities on the planet, and it's also very small. So you're going to learn a lot this semester, not just about the idea of global leadership and meet people, but you're also going to broaden your perspective so that you understand what it means to be global. And when I say global, I don't mean global in the sense that you're used to it. I mean planetary, planet-wide. And that involves not just a perspective that is global, but it involves an understanding of the environment. Because when we talk about the planet, we're not just talking about the people on this planet. We're not just talking about the global economy. That tends to be how we think of globalization. No, we need another word for this, and that word is planetization. So I'd like you to just get this in your mind right now, that we're kind of taking it a bit further this semester in terms of the idea of globalization, and we're now folding in the idea of existential environmental crisis. We are in, as you know, a place that no creatures on this planet have ever gone, which is we're changing the natural world. And I don't need to tell you what's happening in the environment just today. Just every single day now, there is another ecological or natural calamity. The latest in Libya, 10,000 people just wiped out because of a flood. We'll get to that, but just before I get ahead of myself, because I love to talk about these things, I want to tell you that today, what we're going to do is we're going to not have a guest today. Next week, we're going to have Martin Brooks, who's going to come back from Toria, who's the young man who's been involved in creating this video conferencing system. You met him last week, and we had some audio issues, but they've been fixed. So Marty's going to come back next week from Serbia to tell us more about his journey to global citizenship and global entrepreneurship, and how he's helped build this video conferencing system that we're using for this class. So I need to get you ready for that. But also, I'd like to talk today about something really important in terms of critical force. And we started to touch on those last week. We're going to be looking at big forces in our lives today, the great forces in our lives. And we're going to do another group activity. And so essentially, here's the way the class is going to go today, okay? For all of the students online, if you can't hear me or hear any of the students, please just jump on your microphone and let us know can't hear, just shout it out. That's the fastest way to get our attention, because we can't always see the live chat so quickly. But if you're used to just live chatting it, just put it in the live chat and say, there's something I just put in the live chat, and we'll turn around and we'll see right there, okay? For any people who are joining us via YouTube, who've just jumped into the class from anywhere, we can only hear from you via the live chat on YouTube, and we will be checking in with that periodically. But I'd like you all to know that the critical parts, the way this class is organized, is that we are in person first, right here, And then we have our kind of online group in the Durham region who is paying to be here. And then there's this other kind of circle around the class. That's the rest of the world. And they come in via YouTube and they can join us via live chat, but they're not paying to be at Durham College, so they can't have assignments, they can't get graded, but they can join the conversation some way. And that way we have a global class. Okay, make sense? Yeah. Is that Dami? Yeah, good. Okay, excellent, because I've got Dami up there today. So essentially what we're going to do today is in every class, there will always be a kind of a review at the beginning. I don't have a lot to review today because the truth is last week, I never recorded the class. So for the smarter students or the more alert students, you might have noticed that what I did is I posted the afternoon class, Humanities Destiny, just to give everybody a sense of what this class is going to be like. But for all of the students online and the students watching the recordings, I think there's about 42 students registered in just this class, you saw Humanities Destiny, but we're recording now today. We're good. So everything's working on YouTube. So that class will be up. Had everything gone the way it was supposed to last week, you would have seen in the class folder on DC Connect the recording of the class. You would have seen the notes, which I didn't have time to save, but I will this week. So those notes are up on the, we'll call it the dashboard behind me, the big video dashboard. And I've put up the first note from last week from Dami that I want to address. So generally speaking, what we'll do in the beginning of each class is we'll review what was posted in the folder for everybody. We'll talk about the notes, and the live chat is also posted too as a resource, because that can be a great notepad. So for all of you students who are online right now, the live chat will be saved, and if you feel compelled to write something that you think is important, either we'll address it in this class or just know that it will be up there on the on DC Connect later as a resource. And so the idea in this class that you may have already started to get a sense of, at least I hope you will, is that we're trying to use technology in a way that is really inspiring, if possible, to enhance your learning. And this is something that is an ongoing process for me in terms of how we do this. So I'm going to always reach out to you for suggestions as we've been growing this idea of how we do the global class. But I'll get to that in a moment. Right now we're on the review. And I just want to address what we did last week. And then what we're going to do is after that, I'm going to give a little lecture on this critical force in our lives today. And that critical force, we have to jump into it right at the beginning of the semester, is technology. As a matter of fact, it's artificial intelligence. We're going to do an activity today where you're going to work in small teams. And essentially, you're going to answer 2 or 3 questions that we're then going to put up on the board, and that will be our critical knowledge at the end of the class. The question will be, the questions, how is AI helping you? Why are you using AI to begin with? And when I say AI, I think you know what I mean, but I'll just define it for you. You're using a non-human to do a human thing. And that, of course, is something like ChatGPT, generative intelligence, machines that do things for you in the classroom. Please raise a hand here in person if other professors this semester have already touched on this. I hope they have in your classes. They should. Yeah, great. Okay. Not yet? Okay. Well, they will, because we're at a kind of a turning point. If you haven't noticed, the ground is moving beneath our feet. Just to give you one small example, and then we're going to do some review. In the next days, in the United States, in Washington, there's going to be a meeting. An American senator named Chuck Schumer, a very experienced senator. You've probably seen him before. He and Nancy Pelosi, the other Democratic senator, have been the most outspoken senators, along with some other people too. But we'll get into politics later in the United States because it's interesting. But there's a meeting happening in the next days. Chuck Schumer has gathered people together, and guess who's going to be around the table? Elon Musk, Sam Altman. You know who Sam Altman is? The creator of OpenAI. Who's the head of Google? Forget his name. Head of Google, head of OpenAI, head of SpaceX, and whatever the hell Elon Musk is now calling Twitter. You know, he puts a big X in San Francisco to get all this attention. But yes. Good. Okay, you know what? We won't get to the notes yet, but somebody please write that down correctly because we need to get this name up on the board later. The chairman of the board of Google, right? Can you write it down, and then we'll get it afterwards, okay? What's your name? Daniel, way to go, Daniel. Thank you. The idea of a global classroom often is it's a bit of a think tank. This is a learning party that we're having. There's no alcohol. There's no dancing. But I'm kind of like, I wish I were the DJ, except it's all sorts of things I'm doing with IT, not with music. But that's kind of how I think of this class. So we're thinking things through together, and I'm helping you. So it's great that Daniel's already, boom, right there looking for the name. So there are the leaders of the major tech companies. All the big tech guys are meeting in Washington with the politicians to figure out how are we going to regulate AI. And normally, when businessmen, capitalists, in the most crude way we could think of a capitalist, Donald Trump is, for you like him or don't like him, I'm not going to get into it. The one thing about Donald Trump is all he cares about is making money. That's it. That's all. He's a very crude example of an American capitalist, and there are many of them. Generally speaking, a capitalist will say, government, do not get in my way. Move out of my way. I want to make as much money as I can, and I'll do whatever I like with my money. Get out of my way. But actually, what's happening now is that the tech companies are saying, we're so concerned about what we've created with artificial intelligence. We want regulation. We want to meet with government and figure out what kind of laws should be created to control this thing. It's remarkable. This is happening in the world. And you're all part of this. So we're going to, Daniel, yes, make sure so the other students can hear you, okay? And here, it's on, all right? You just need to do the karaoke so they can hold it close to your mouth, okay? They'll hear you. Go ahead.
I was wondering if anything like this has ever happened before in the history of the world.
I'm going to have to control my emotions and hype things up because I don't want to hype anything up in this room. This is not a place for hype. You can go to the Queensway, you can go to the movies, and you can go for any website for hype. There's lots and lots and lots of hype, social media. I don't know, but it's significant. Can you imagine, first of all, Elon Musk and Sam Altman sitting around the same table? Elon Musk and Sam Altman had a falling out over AI. And now the two of them, along with others, are going to sit there with a Democratic senator who's suspicious of big business, and Elon Musk is going to walk in and, he's like the richest guy in the world, and, everybody does things for him. And he's going to sit there, and he's going to try and help government control him. This is Saturday Night Live. You know, I mean, it's hilarious, but it's real. Artificial intelligence, generative stuff, intelligence, the stuff that you can get online now that can generate its own text for you and images and do all sorts of work for you, what are called cognitive offloading tools. Cognitive offloading tools. Are you ready for this? Do you know what to offload to OpenAI? Have you been cheating already through high school and, you know, college with ChatGPT and essays you've been handing in? Do you know what to do with this powerful machine? So we're going to do some activities about this today, figure out some questions. And I hope, Dami, this is controversial enough for you. But if it isn't, just tell us, okay? So we'll get to that. But let's move on from review and check in with, well, actually, we haven't quite finished with review. Let me make sure I've dealt with that. Still getting my sea legs after some months off. I always like to check in with the online group, and I see Ajoy has put into the live chat the name of the CEO of Google, Sundar. Ajoy, how do you pronounce that? He's Indian. He's not Bangladeshi, right?
Yes, he's from India.
Is he?
Yeah. So, Pichai, Mr. Pichai, Sundar Pichai.
Okay, we'll confirm it. Well, we've already established in this class that Bangladesh and India can get along in this class. That the Muslim in Pakistan and the Hindu in India are friends in this class. Is that okay? So for the Indian international students, are you an Indian international student? Okay, good. Do you mind telling us how you pronounce the CEO of Google's name just correctly? Go ahead.
I think it's Sundar Pichai.
Sundar?
Pichai.
We want, for good sources, we go straight to the source in this class. So we're going straight to an Indian person or, oh, sorry, I said Pakistan. Bangladesh is also Muslim, like Pakistan. So how do you pronounce?
Sundar Pichai.
Sundar Pichai? Is that it? Ajoy is from Bangladesh. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes. Listen.
Sundar Pichai? Is that good? We''t got a bit of Nigerian going on here. I know you mentioned Nigeria, but, so we'll ask them too. Is that okay, Pichai? Is it okay? I'm getting you guys all kind of confused. All right. So we'll go Sundar Pichai is the correct pronunciation of the CEO of Google, and he's going to be sitting with Elon Musk and Sam Altman in Washington in the coming days. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so why don't we do a little review from last week before we get into AI? And before you're going to answer the question, have you used ChatGPT and these other programs? How did you use them? Why did you use them? And how will you be using them in this class? I'm not going to tell you not to use them. Nothing is banned in this class. Nothing is considered wrong. We only try to understand why, what's going on. It could get uncomfortable, but it will in a way that's respectful, and we'll let, since he was the one, Dami, last week, who said we want controversial topics, he's going to have to take on the burden of making us always clear that we are doing it the right way, that we are dealing with controversy the right way, okay? You tell us that. So, okay, first, before we review, we need somebody to go over to the smartboard and be the person. Dami was at last week, and we can go default here, but I want to give everybody the chance, and I'll show you what I mean for the students who will get better at this. We've got the smartboard teed up. So who feels like they're ready to show a little bit of leadership and go and manage the smartboard. You don't have to, okay? This is only the second class. And hold on, I'm just going to say finally, I don't mind if you sleep. It's okay, because there's some very stressed out people in this class. And we've had mothers, fathers, maybe up all night, but no snoring, okay, because it gets in the way, all right? But if you want to nod off, no problem, okay? I understand. Well, we just won't get a microphone near you if you start snoring, so that's okay. Yes? Well, Dami, why don't you go show Jishan? You did that last week, okay? You're not doing it? Geez, you're already showing such initiative. Dami will show you, okay? Yeah, watch this, okay? Here's the leader. Here's the almost leader. And the leader is going to show the almost leader what to do. Okay? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go walk with Dami over there. He'll show you, yeah. Okay? Way to go, everybody. Yeah, no, if you feel like I'm pushing you too much, just raise a hand like this, okay? And I'll pull back. But my job is to push you guys in a way where I respect you. So there we go. Excellent. Okay, so we got it going. And you can see, yeah, how Dami will show him. But we've got those are the notes from last week. And for everybody online, you should be seeing that really clearly. Christina, can you just tell us what you're looking at right now?
The whiteboard.
And what's written on the whiteboard?
Connor Tech
Is
force.
as a force of good.
Yeah.
Tech as a force of good. Okay, great. Now, if we come back here, Christina, can you still reasonably clearly see what's on the whiteboard still? In the
Yeah, I can
dashboard?
see.
Okay, great. So we'll come over to you sometimes, Dami, but otherwise. Okay, so Dami, yeah, can you take us back and let's give a microphone to Dami, and can you just tell us what you meant by that? Because we're in the review section. This will go a little faster next week, but we're again trying to use tech in a way that's going to be bringing us all together from all over the planet. Dami, what did you mean by wanting or liking controversial topics? What does that mean?
I mean like topics that are like very, very tough to talk about, topics that people have different emotions or different opinions about.
Yeah.
And we could like talk about it as people that actually know what we're talking about, not getting emotionally charged and all of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And could you write one or two examples of what you think off the top of your head, and you can add it to that slide, is a controversial topic? Just what you think would be a controversial topic, and you can put that up on board. I'm hoping that today, when we talk about AI, we will get into that realm of controversy. But I'm just curious, what other kinds of topics, Dami, off the top of your head, you would consider controversial? Yeah, that makes sense. Racism. So we're going to try and develop intercultural literacy in this class, meaning that we recognize that we're all human first, and that in between the Bangladeshi, the Canadian, the Nigerian, the Indian, the woman, the man, the Jew, the Christian, the Muslim, the whoever, there's something bigger going on. It's the human. How all the humans live together. How do you become a responsible global citizen? How do you become a person who is responsible in a diverse world? If you accept it's a diverse world, how should you live in that world? It's a tough question. So racism is excellent, Dami, and we will deal with that for sure. One more, and then we'll move on, okay? topics that we're going to deal with. Racism, let's see. Oh, well, I see what's coming next. Yep. LGBTQ. Does anyone want to say what that stands for? Let's see. We'll let Dami sit, but we'll go around, and I'd like to hear it come out of your mouth. I'm not going to make it difficult for some of the international students who just walked into this country and into this classroom, and they're going, what is going on here? I don't want to say that word, lesbian. But wait, hold on. Connor, do you mind? Do you feel comfortable saying the whole thing? Okay, let's give Connor a microphone. There are 3 of them, and they've already gone wandering. Okay, so here we go. Great. Go ahead. Connor's going to tell us what LGBTQ means.
All right, so I think it goes lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, two-spirit plus. I think that's what it is.
I think it's two-spirited, but I don't know what the plus is. Two-spirited.
What is the plus? I'm not sure. Does
It
anyone?
just kind of goes on.
Okay. Go ahead, Daniel. Yeah, good.
I just searched it up. So it's 2 SLGBTQI plus. So two-spirited, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex.
Why don't we just say diverse? What an amazingly diverse thing humanity is. Are you afraid of that? Anyways, I'm just putting the question out there, okay? Daniel, you want to say anything? That's great that you're digging already, and then we're going to move on. But we're still reviewing. Dami asked last week. Put it in the notes. He likes controversy. He's right. We should be dealing with so we now have to drill down a little bit more. Okay, Daniel?
I feel like you just say it's non-norm conforming identities in general. If you want to be politically correct while also just making it into one sentence.
Sure.
At
Okay.
the same time.
Let's say for now we don't have the clearest definition. It's a work in progress. Okay, but non-conforming is not norm. It's keep talking so the guys can hear you. I know it's hard, but these microphones are not very good up here. We got it.
The terminology, there's terminology cis norms and gender norms, so I feel like it'd still be politically correct saying non-norm conforming. Like you're not conforming. I'm still conforming to the terminology set out, right? So it's
Sure.
I'm not necessarily. I feel like it's not necessarily saying anything other than you're just not straight or
You're curved.
Yeah.
Like when I used to get a hockey stick when I was a kid playing hockey, and I wanted that just the right curve, and I go to the Doug Laurie Sports down by Maple Leaf Gardens. Once I worked selling programs, and I just got to have that Coho stick or the Sherwood with just the right curve. I don't want the straight stick like Dave Keon had. He was the great Toronto Maple Leafs captain. No, I'm showing my age. Why don't we just say right now, it's complex. And just to put this down one more time, because this is going to come up again and again and again this semester. Complexity is one of the greatest forces in your life today. Complexity. Please, write that down. If you can't find yourself ready to deal with that complexity, you can put it right there on your, absolutely. You can write it anywhere on your card. You just write the word complexity. That's all you have to, complexity. You want to lead and not follow? The leaders are the ones who start to understand complexity and how to deal with it, and they're not afraid of it. The followers are the ones who wait for the leaders to tell them what to do. Do you want to be that kind of person in your life where you are being told what to do? Wouldn't you rather be freer and collaborating with others who are all telling each other what to do, and then they're trying to find a way to solve a problem together? So being able to address complexity is going to be a huge part of this course. And as Ajoy says nicely in the live chat about cross-cultural communication is extremely complicated. How does the older 60-year-old white Jewish professor talk to the young black Nigerian American, what other country you got going there? US, Nigeria, and Cuba, was it? No, okay. How do I talk to him? No, I guess he's black. I walk away. The blacks and the Jews. Geez, I better walk really far. And this is ridiculous. We talk, we understand, we touch on the controversial topics so we can really solve problems together. Great. Okay, let's go to the next. We'll review one more slide, and then we'll come back to our main topic. So remember the, yeah, you got it. So Dami is just moving the slide, and Connor said, tech as a force of good. Yes. Now we got engagement. What's your name? Josh, way to go, Josh. I love it when you jump in and you want to say something to help us all learn. Josh, just the microphone. We'll just move it around. I'll take it over to Josh. Yeah. Oh, good. So, Josh, just flip it on. Flip it. You'll see there's a little turn on, and like karaoke, hold it to your mouth so everybody can hear you. Go ahead.
I think religion would be pretty interesting to talk about.
Yeah. And Josh, is there a particular question about religion you'd like to answer in the global leader class?
I guess coming from diverse backgrounds, we all have like different perspectives and thoughts on God. So it'd be pretty interesting to see like why, you know, and as opposed to like you said, having emotions involved in bashing each other. Let's try to understand why we have our perspective.
Yeah. That's great. Why? Why we have our particular perspectives. Online, the group online and the solar system out there, Planet NC, NS, CT, Ajoy, and DACA. Does anybody want to add anything to this idea that Josh has brought to us about dealing with religion in the global leader class? Anything you'd like to add? Please feel free to jump in on your microphone or in the live chat. Let me go over and see while we're doing that if there's anything over here on YouTube in the chat. No, that's okay. I use YouTube largely for the recordings in their studio thing, but this is an added benefit that we're live streaming and somebody jumps in, but I don't see anything there. So, Daniel?
I feel like we could tie a lot of these things in with politics as well, because they all tie into politics.
Yeah,
all
politics.
three of these.
Well, politics too. Then we're going to be dealing with a lot of those dimensions already. Finally, I'd like to ask all of you, and then we're going to come to the main course today. As you saw in the course outline, you sign up for this class, we do a class where we prepare for a global leader who comes in the next week, and then we do another prep class. And so the guests in this class are really important. People who either join us right here live, you know, there will be people coming in and sitting here with us like this, or there will be people joining us from somewhere in the world. Do you have any ideas of names of people that you would like to invite? We can invite them. A leader is not afraid of talking to anybody. A leader recognizes that if you want to lead, you've got to have some confidence in yourself. And as we established last week about an answer to a question that Connor asked, I think he asked something like, Lon, what are your passions? And I told a story. What do you remember that story, Connor? Or do you remember what the conclusion of that story was?
I believe it was a story about a bench that you sat on across from a coffee shop.
That's right.
3 words on it, if I'm correct.
And what were the 3 words? And I said they were really important to this court and to the idea of leadership.
And then in order, it said imagination, courage, and perseverance.
In that order. That's what I love about that. Thanks, Connor. That's great. So a leader, and I mean not just a leader of projects. I'm talking about just being a leader in your own life. Waking up in the morning and leading through the day, not following. You've got to have a vision. You need to tap into your imagination. Then you need the courage to keep facing people putting their thumb in your forehead and telling you you can't do it. You're a Jew, you're a black, you're gay, you're straight, you're an Indian girl, you're an international student, you're just an ant. I understand that. I've been there. Then you need the grit, the resilience. Any athlete will tell you that. You just keep going. So inviting people to this class means that we think about interesting people and then we try to reach out to them somehow. And we're not afraid. We have courage. So we may not be able to get them. They may be busy, and we'll try. And maybe I might, if you are really serious, I might build an assignment around a letter that you write to this person. I've done that. So who should we? Let's get 3 or 4 names up there, okay? Yes, Daniel.
This, I feel like, just based upon what was on the other slide on like the controversy and stuff like this one might be an interesting figure.
Let's hear it.
Dr. Jordan Peterson from, previously from the University of Toronto, now going through a whole bunch of issues right now with politics that kind of relate to a few of the things that we are reading here. And he was kind of a figurehead at the University of Toronto before this. So he might be interesting.
He would. The problem is we tried to invite him a year ago, and a student did a great assignment. He wrote a letter, and I'm going to break the news about Jordan Peterson. As much as he's admired by young men, not too many women like Jordan Peterson, mostly guys. He didn't answer. He didn't even have the decency to say to this student, thank you for your letter. I've had some pretty big people we've invited into this class, presidents and chairmen and others, and they at least said, thank you, good letter, but I'm another time. Jordan Peterson, after reaching out to him repeatedly, didn't even respond. I don't like that. That's not respectful. But we can try again. Daniel, we could try again. Jordan Peterson would be a pretty good guess. Boy, we'd have to get ready, and you come and absolutely, he'd be great.
I'm not much of necessarily a fan of him, but I will say he's very good at debating, and he's
absolutely.
I've seen tons of clips on him debating and stuff like that, and he just, I don't know, he's interesting, but I'm not a big fan of him.
No, but I'd love to, if you want, Daniel, we can talk about how your first assignment might be a letter that you write to him, and I would go over it, and maybe he'll respond to you.
Well, Professor.
Yeah, Joy, go ahead.
Well, in this context, as he refused, so what I'm thinking that even we are trying to can write to Professor Yuval Noah Harari. I think you remember that he's one of the complex, critical thinker in the world, and very, very communicative and very convenient with the.
It's a great
everybody.
idea. Could
Yeah,
you
so, yeah.
do you want to write that?
Mhm.
Could you spell I'm going to bring the camera over here. Ajoy, could you spell the name for Dami right now? So he'll put it on the board for you. Go ahead.
YU.
Yep.
Yeah.
YU.
YU.
Y like you. Yeah.
V.
YU.
What? VAL.
VA. And then his last name?
Harari. HARARI.
Now, I just want to point something out to you. You may sense it, but this person is sitting in Dhaka right now, live. He's just told, halfway around the world, a young man from all over the world to write something. So we're learning together. Who is, just a second, Ajo, I'm going to ask to see if the class knows, who is Yuval Noah Harari? Boy, it'd be great to have him as a guest. Does anyone have heard his name? I can help you, okay? Anybody online want to jump in? Christina, oh, let's see. We have, live chat. Nick, Vim, Hassan, anybody heard the name Yuval Noah Harari? Has anyone heard the book Homo Deus, Sapiens? Well, we have potential to, if we don't have him as a guest, to talk about some of his ideas. He's a professor in Israel who has spoken and written at length about the idea. I'll let Ajoy finish. Ajoy, go ahead.
Yeah, he's also the visiting scholar from the University of Oxford, the School of History.
Wow, visiting scholar from Oxford. Let's try. Okay.
Yeah, I can collaborate. With your student.
Okay.
Great. Writing and delivering.
Maybe we'll have a student here who could assist you with that. But we'll get to that. My point is, we want to think about inviting interesting people, controversial people, people that maybe you reach out to, and I'm also reaching out to myself. So not to worry. Daniel? Yep. Go ahead. Yeah, sure.
In terms of who we're inviting, who would you suggest? Like, absolutely anybody. Like, who should the guests be? Like, what should they have to talk about?
Well, there's a lot I could say to that, but let me think about that, okay? Because I don't want to say too much. I want to make sure it's focused. Definitely, they have to talk about technology, because technology is huge as a force. We need them to address complexity. Yes, Ajoy?
Yeah, even this professor, this guy, he's the perfect choice for the talking about the algorithm, AI, and this digital divide and the politics according in this 21st centuries. Okay,
sure.
Because he touches this all deep areas of knowledge.
Yes. Artificial intelligence, Daniel, algorithms, that whole world. Yuval Noah Harari.
Climate change, even climate change, politics.
Sure.
What about cybersecurity?
Excellent. Cybersecurity.
Yes, it also the part of his expertise. Yes, as far as I know.
But let's talk about this, and then we're going to get into our activity. Daniel or anyone else, who might be someone we could invite to talk, and who's young, like yourselves, in their 20s or 30s? Doesn't have to be young. necessarily, it could be an older person, but somebody who's doing something in this field, Daniel, that is advancing the field, is showing initiative and leadership, is knowledgeable. Cybersecurity, is there somebody that you think would be a good guest?
It's not necessarily cybersecurity, but I watch this YouTuber called CoffeeZilla, and he makes YouTube videos on like scams and like it's basically like all cyber scams, like using like NFTs, like how people are using all these new financial things to scam people. For example, there's like this guy named Sam Bankman-Fried
Yeah.
who's in tons of trouble, and
Yes, he
he
is.
was integral to actually like part of the case. In one of his YouTube videos, he broke down like a whole bunch of evidence, and he went into the case and like broke down where they were actually arguing during that court, like during
Sure.
that time in the court hearings. And he went in depth, and they actually ended up citing his videos in the court filings. He's like got like 2 million subscribers right now, and he's like in his 20s.
So
Candid.
he's definitely the real deal, not some kind of avatar, some kind of fake, some kind of, scammer himself.
I
Seems like
would
he's-
suppose, I would think so. Like he's gained quite a notoriety for being the guy on YouTube who is trustworthy for this type of stuff.
Well, I just want to make sure about this because once upon a time, I used to wear a little yellow bracelet briefly. Live strong. Lance Armstrong. Jeez. Won the Tour de France 7 times. Cancer survivor. Starting a foundation called Live Strong. Famous all over the world. Well, eventually the rumors started. He's juiced. He's taking something. No, he said it's a witch hunt. They're just after me, and people are trying to tear me down. And eventually he fessed up. He could not say to his son what he had been telling the world. He couldn't lie to his son. So he came on television, I think it was Oprah, and he said, sorry. Not only have I been juiced all this time, but I've been making sure my whole peloton, my whole team is juiced. We're taking all these drugs, and you can't get onto my team if you don't come into my van and shoot up. That's how he won 7 tours with his great American team, the Postal Service. So I could give other examples of feeling betrayed, feeling that somebody out there who seems successful and smart and honest and upfront is actually not telling the truth. That's why I asked Daniel. I'm not saying he is that way, this guy, but there are many, many, many cases, and we're not just talking about Americans. We're talking about Canadians. We're talking about Europeans, South America, human corruption, human greed. As Will Smith said, not Will Smith, Chris Rock, who was slapped by Will Smith at the Academy Awards, we are addicted to attention. We have to be careful about that. So I'm going to assume he's legit. Okay. What's his name? We'll put him down, then we'll move on.
It's spelled coffee, like regular spelling of coffee, and then like Zilla, like FileZilla. I don't know if you ever seen that, or like Godzilla.
Okay.
Coffeezilla.
That's a creative name.
No, not copy. Coffee.
Coffeezilla.
Caffeine.
Caffeine. Man. Okay. We spent a lot of time on review, but we'll move on. But I really thank you all for some great ideas. And are you okay to still stand there, Dami? And yeah, okay. Or maybe get relieved by Josh? You think you can give Dami a rest? Or thanks, guys. Okay. Excellent. So let's move on and really start getting ready for next week's guest, who's also all about technology. and I'll come back here. Great. Anybody online want to say something before we're going to go into teams? And the online group is going to be a team unto itself. So there will be on that team, I see there are essentially, it's a good group, 6 people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Ajoy, Christina, Nishan, Hassan, Nick, and Vieno will be a group, okay, in a moment. And then we will have, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have a nice group here, okay? And then Josh, you can be a group with, I'll give you each a number so you can remember. So 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Because I may split things up later and say all the 1s go there and all the 2s go there. But for now, 1, 2, 3, 4 is a group, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just remember that number, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, well, 4.5. But she's going to be 5 soon. She'll be back. She will be back. Okay. So, Josh, could you put your fingers down on those 2 little lines to your right and move the slide? We're going to create, go down, oh, not there, go lower. You see right there, exactly. Put your fingers on that, those 2 little lines, and pull. And you can, nice. Keep going, and you'll be able to get, lovely. So, today's big question. Could you write that down? Josh, today's big question. The question is, why did you use ChatGPT? Could you write that down? I'm going to assume that everybody here has an account with OpenAI or something like that. Why did you use AI? We'll say for short, instead of having to write ChatGPT or generative pre-transformer technology, or this is intelligence that is created by the machine, we'll say, why did you use artificial AI? Why did you use AI? And I mean for school. Okay, so just question mark, okay? We're not going to answer that right now. You're going to answer that in your group together, and then we're going to put some answers up. But let's establish some ground rules first. I just want to give a little lecture or a little talk, just a little talk. Generally, my lectures in this class will be short and sweet just to get you set up for something. We've established what artificial intelligence is at the beginning of the class, but I'll just repeat for all of you a definition. It's a non-human, you don't have to write this out, a non-human doing a human thing. And we've also established that there is a force in our lives today that is changing the way we do so many things. That is technology. It has been with us since the beginning of civilization. And I just want to speak a little bit more to this idea of this power that's in your life right now. Where we've come to, where you are at in 2023 as a young person preparing to do well in this world. How do you use technology? How do you use these powerful tools? I want to remind you of something as we work through this question about technology. It's said today that there is a machine under everything that we do. Think about that. From the time that you get up, get in your car, on your bicycle, or you walk, or you've got your phone, come to campus, and you've got your laptop, and there's so many other things in our lives today in which we are being assisted by a machine. I want to remind you of something that you may forget about when you think about machines. Underneath the machine is a human who created that machine. And those machines generally are run by what we call algorithms today. That's the code that is written by humans to make this machine work. So please try to keep that in mind as you work through this question about exactly why did you use this technology to help you. Try to remember that it wasn't dropped from the sky. It's humans creating things for humans to help them do something better. And the second thing I want to say, we educators today are spending a lot of time trying to figure out how do we bring this tech into our classes so that students are getting smarter, not getting lazier. How do we do that? I want you to know that as we have this discussion, I am not antagonistic in any way. I am not creating a war here between the professor who's going to try to catch all the cheaters now. That's not the way it's going to operate in this class. My approach will be, how do we understand this technology and use it well for ourselves and for our futures so that we can become even better and more prepared for a complex world? That's all. So it's very constructive. But as this activity may reveal, some of you may be honest enough to tell us that you have been using this quite regularly to hand in things. And so what? We will address this. I understand that. I understand the need today in a very complex, stressful, overwhelming world where you have too much to do in 24 hours that you would want a machine, what we call an intelligent assistant, to do more for you. That makes sense. The question is, where are you going to draw the line? Okay? And we're going to start that conversation today. And we're going to continue next week with Martin Brooks. When he's our guest, he knows a lot about technology. So let's get going, okay? Do you feel you understand the question you need to answer together as a group? All right, so we have here, you can come and sit with the group here, Josh, Juanita, Leanda, nice, hi Leanda. Of course, Dami, we've got Josh over here, and then I think it was Daniel who left, he'll come back. But now, 1, 2, 3, 4, who was the one that I gave? Are you a one? Did I give you a one? Who's one? Are you one back there? You're two? Okay. Okay, so you're one. What's your name? Sanjina? Hi, Sanjina. So Sanjina, you're a one. You're going to go with, is it Maria? You're going to go with Maria, number 2, and 3 and 4. What's your name again? Ars? Oh, Harsh. Yes, and then it's Dhruv. Yeah, I got it. Okay, so that's a group. Okay, the 4 of you. Okay, and then I think I gave the others numbers, if you can remember, you know, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4 is a group, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half is a group. Please go together as a group now anywhere in the room, and you don't need a microphone. And for essentially 10 to 15 minutes, could you begin to have a little discussion and make a few notes about how have you used ChatGPT or artificial intelligence with your schoolwork, and why did you use it? Is that clear? Great. Okay. And then for the online group, I'd like you to do the same. Hassan, do you understand what I'm asking you to do online? Let's see. Great. Okay, go for it. So, Christina, are you good? You understand?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I'll check in with you in about 10 or 15 minutes, okay? And we'll get some great ideas up on the... Yes. Yes, AI in general, but for your schoolwork. Okay, so and generally ChatGPT or something like that tends to be commonly used. But it's how have you been using artificial intelligence in your schoolwork, and why did you use it? Make good. Okay, great. Okay, go for it, guys. Okay. I'm going to turn off the microphones here, make sure the students are good. Okay. If you have a microphone, just make sure you turn it off so you have your private 10. Okay, good. Yep. And one more. Do you want to join this group over here? Great. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. I'm going to turn off my microphone for a moment for the online group. If you need to reach me, just jump on your microphone or your live chat. Thanks, everybody. Okay, everybody, 5 more minutes, okay? 5 more minutes. Okay, 3 minutes. For the online group, feel free to write your answers in the live chat at any time, okay? And we can also address it that way. We're going to take everything up in 2 minutes. Okay, very good. Okay, 1 minute. Get ready. We're going to start taking this up in 1 minute. And let's see what we have. Okay. Great. Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, we have Nick, we have Piano, we have Nishan, we have Adjoy. Good. 30 seconds. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Great. Okay. Good. I see Arshpreet has come in. Okay, everyone, start to wrap up. We're going to get ready to take this up. We have 15 minutes left in the class. Oh, interesting, Nick. That is, Nick, that's well put. Give students the opportunity for a new learning experience. Nice. Nick, are you able to elaborate on that idea of what you would define as a new learning experience? I like that. You're saying it could open people's minds. So I guess you mean by engaging with technology in a new way, or give that some thought when you say, like, imagine what is that learning experience, and what will it be, what benefit will it be for that new experience? Will it help us to become better critical thinkers, or more creative, or more compassionate somehow? Or the new part, then I'm just not sure what that means. Please give that some thought, and then let's hear what you have to say in the live chat, okay? So everybody, you can stay in your groups like this, and nice, Nishan. We've got some ideas going already, and I think for the moment, just because there's only so much we can do, we don't need anybody on the smart board. We're going to leave things as they are, and we're going to use the live chat for our notepad. So here's your microphone, and okay, everybody, so can I have your attention here and online? I'm going to do something a little bit new right now that I'd like to do more often during this class, because it's all about leadership. And I've done this in the past, but not enough. But it's going to work very well, I think, in this class, which is, you see this seat over here? There's a seat right now that's empty. In the past, and this semester as well, we've had guests who come in here. Well, I'm actually going to incorporate this into our class every week as much as I can. Whoever would like to come and sit in that chair and tell us what they concluded from their activity will be demonstrating courage and leadership. Your ability to come and sit there, take a microphone, and tell us what you concluded will also be helping you to practice your communication skills. I'll say something finally about communication, just a small thing. There is a great director in Hollywood. His name is Steven Spielberg. You've probably heard of his name before. He's longtime Hollywood great. And you know, he once said about directing that about 85% of it is communication. Are you able to communicate to people what you would like to do, or what you are thinking of? Or would you rather let somebody else do the communicating for you? So here's what I'm going to say, but you do not have to take me up on it right now, and in no way should you see this as a reflection of failing in any way. There's no failure in this class. But I'm going to ask, is there anyone who would like to come sit there in that chair right now and Take the microphone. Just tell us what you concluded from your activity. Way to go, Leanda. Way to go. Give her a hand. Lovely. Okay. This is leadership. This is really great. And Leanda, go ahead and we're gonna help you. You know, we support you. We're with you. And Leanda's gonna tell us, and then we're gonna go online a little bit later. But so just hold the microphone like karaoke, remember, so everybody can hear you. And all the students watching the recording later, all the online students, and everybody here can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Wait, can you? Okay. So, my group, we came up with pros and cons for the ChatGPT.
Yep.
Why we use it. So the pros is it makes work easier.
Yes.
It helps with better understanding.
Yep.
For people who do procrastinate, it creates wiggle room. However, the cons of that is it limits your thinking.
It limits your thinking. Okay, now part of being on this seat means you have to take some incoming fire. But
No problem.
okay, tough questions. That was very general. You were speaking of like the we. In your first assignment, you're going to have to be reflecting and use the I. You're going to have to talk a lot about you. So here's the tough part. It's Leanda, right? Leanda, in any of those examples, were you speaking about you or were you speaking about other people?
Well, not me, but other people.
Okay,
Yeah.
watch how this gets tough. But you don't have to answer, okay? This is courage. Leanda, have you used ChatGPT yourself?
No, I have not, but I've used a different form of AI.
What did you use?
Well, I don't know if Grammarly would count, because
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
AI, absolutely.
Okay.
And Leanda, how did you use it?
well, it helps to check plagiarism, grammar. That's the main thing.
Right, okay, you're getting it. It's great. You're telling. Does anyone have any questions for Leanda about this idea of how she or how they in her group used Grammarly or any other form of artificial intelligence? Anybody online? You have a question for Leanda? Okay. So, oh, we got a question from her own group. Go. How does it work? Yes.
Grammarly? Okay, so first you just set up an account and then you can copy and paste your work into the Grammarly and it tells you whether it tells you whether some of your words are incorrect or if it's
It's okay. This is pressure.
no,
What?
it's not pressure.
Is
I'm
it-
just trying to think.
Let me point out something here. We're right on the raw nerve now. This is controversy. But I'm just trying to help you to learn. The truth is that when we have to express ourselves, sometimes we struggle to find a word. People hate writing for that reason because you're always going blank. Is it possible if you use Grammarly too much, it's giving you words?
No, I don't think so, because it's your own thoughts and thinking.
So the fact that you were struggling for a word is not because you've been relying on a machine to
No.
help you with words.
Grammarly is not like ChatGPT that writes it for you.
Okay. You get my point? You see where I'm good. Okay. See, this is the raw nerve, guys. This is the raw nerve. This is a controversy. What if, as wonderful as Daniel is, whenever there is something you want to know, bring me the machine, get me the name, go online. This is good, Daniel. This is good. But my point is, what if you use a machine and your memory is not working anymore? Because the machine is giving you everything at one touch. Does that concern you? Does that concern you? Did you understand? Do you understand, Maria? Do you understand what I said? Yeah? Okay. Dami, you're good? Okay. But that's not what happened there. First of all, I have a misunderstanding of what Grammarly is, right? I'm showing my ignorance. Have you ever been in a situation where you couldn't remember? And then instead of concentrating and letting all those billions of neurons and synapses deliver it for you in your brain, that wasn't fast enough. So you went, boom, get me my iPhone. Wikipedia, boom, there it is. Yes.
Well, yeah, but you can also use your secondary sources. It doesn't necessarily have to be AI when using Grammarly.
But you're not using your brain anymore in your memory. You're using a machine to assist with the delivery of information.
True, but secondary sources can also be a textbook. Or
It's not true. Let's get a microphone over here. Okay, go ahead. Excellent. Do you see what we're discussing now? We're talking about this idea of artificial machine delivered information or intelligence and figuring out whether you rely on that too much and what that might do to you. Yes. Go ahead.
I don't really think that's true. Well, I think it's true what you said, but not what you just said.
Okay.
Because she only said her grammar, so it could be commas and stuff like that. That's not really basically. Or she could have put 2 S's instead of 1. Like, it's not really.
But why shouldn't she be proofreading?
And she already
for
did
that
the
on her
work.
own?
She already did the work to copy and paste it into Grammarly to get, the correction.
yeah,
that
we
she
all proofread, but at the same time, we're not perfect. I'm sure you.
Exactly.
I'm sure you've proofread and made somebody else do it, and they found a bunch of mistakes.
Good point. Touche. Absolutely. I've done that. I've said, somebody else read this, print out a hard copy. I can't find everything. They do it. Excellent point. So it assisted us in being better, in handing something in that's better, but we didn't avoid doing the hard work of proofreading first. We just recognize, even if we work hard, we're still going to make mistakes. Maybe the machine can help us a little bit in the end.
Something so.
Something. Excellent. Daniel, you good? Ooh, I feel insight coming. I feel profound thinking coming. Here it comes. AI is no different than a teacher. Go on, Daniel. Go on.
When you think about it, counter argument to that would be AI is no different than your teacher, because what you said was you're not sitting there using your neurons, firing it up, thinking about it yourself. Well, right now, when I'm listening to a lecture, or well, not for this class, but for most other classes, when I'm listening to the materials going through a slideshow, I'm sitting there reading and just thinking about what's going on. If I ask AI a question, I have to sit there, read, think about what is the reply, right?
Yeah.
It's if you think about it, a shared teacher that everybody contributes to, that holds the shared knowledge of everybody, not just a singular human being. Therefore, you could almost argue not only that, but it also helps you remember different things, because you might not be remembering the exact answer to your question, but you're remembering the way to solve it. You're remembering how to ask the question to AI to get the information to solve said problem. No different than how now we go to the internet rather than going to library with encyclopedias.
Isn't it wonderful that we can have a class, we come to an end, and we have students who are giving us insight together and we learn together? Even when I kind of criticize that student. I made him maybe for a moment feel like, wait a minute. But he then showed courage and intelligence. Way to go. Way to go. What program are you in? Supply chain. Well, that's pretty global. Sending stuff to people all over the world with machines. Okay, we have only about 2 minutes left, but I want to make sure, we wrap up, and we will continue next week. Maria, take a Okay, just say it and we'll repeat it, okay? Can you put that in the live chat? Can you cut and paste that into the live chat? Geez, we're cutting and pasting here. That's not good. Oh, this is good. Oh, just a second, Leanne. Maria, can you read this again so everybody can hear you? Because we're going to end here, okay? All right. Nobody can see Maria, but she's here. She's been thinking, and she's going to read us something. Go ahead, Maria.
I think AI is a cheating resources system for education studies and in general. Because how are you supposed to develop as an individual for your academic studies, for your own education, and your own perspective of your real life? How are you supposed to learn on your own and develop your skills without a technology system? There are pros and cons and systems of technology we use in our everyday lives. And yes, technology helps you to gain knowledge of science and technology, and it's why we use it every day.
I don't have much more to say. I mean, it is the end of the class, and I might have said last week that we should end like elephants. Did I say that last week? No. I have to tell you what I mean. Once upon a time, I used to produce television shows and television series, directed them and wrote, and one of them is called Zoo Diaries. It still runs on the National Geographic Channel or Discovery Channel. I spent a lot of time at the Toronto Zoo, meeting zookeepers and giraffes and elephants and Charles, the silverback gorilla. I even have his photocopy of his hand framed at home. Amazing. That hand, if it gets you, whoa, it'll kill you. The elephant keepers said, well, I saw it in action when they would train an elephant to do something. If the elephant understood, then the activity would stop. And the next week when he would return or she would return to train that elephant, that keeper could start right back up again because the elephant would remember everything if they stopped at a high note, if they stopped when the elephant remembered. But if the elephant didn't quite understand what was going on and then the activity ended, next week they'd have to start all the way back at the beginning again. The elephant seemed to have forgotten everything. So I'm going to say, let's end like elephants today. We understand. Maria has read something really great, and Ajoy has put this. We can review this next week. I'm going to save the live chat. Also, Leanda, thank you for the courage to come up and start being in the hot seat like this, okay? Getting this going. We'll pick up where we left off next week. We're going to have a guest, Martin Brooks from Serbia, possibly in Germany, wherever he is. He's from Brazil originally, to talk about the building of a video conferencing system and technology. I'm going to assign the first reflection next week, okay? Leanda. Yes? No, it was just we were setting things up. Today is when things really begin, okay? Excellent. Thank you, everybody. And Joy, thanks for staying the whole class. I'm going to review this next week in the live chat. Does anybody online have anything they'd like to say to me before I end the class?